Today's Afyomi is Sadi Vav 96 of Sanhedrin, and we're going to start on the bottom of 95b. Um, Today's daf is dedicated for Shemir for the Chayalim, Matzah for the Shuyim, and Yeshua for Am Yisrael. In this Eis Sarah, we're going to start on 4 lines from the bottom on 95b. Amar Rabbi Avo, Moe Mikra Kosov, were not for the fact that there was a verse that said these words, EF Shal would have been impossible to say it. Because it states, Bayomahu, it's a verse, it's very anthropomorphic. It talks about how God is like a man. It says, on that day, Yigalach Hashem Bitar, on that day, God will shave with a razor, Aschira be'evrei nahar b'melch ashur as harosh the Sarah raglayim v'gamas as akantis, that God is going to, and that and the verse is basically saying that after all the men of Sanherib's army died, that God came and compared himself to like or represented himself like a old man, and the Amarle, and he said to Sanherib that it was not God, it would have been an angel, said to Sanherib, this the I say sinu katlinu, when you come to the kings of the east and the west, and you've killed all their children, my amrislahu, what are you going to say to them? How are you going to explain how their children died? So Sachar said, yeah, it's a good question. I'm also afraid of that. So he said, what should I do to save him? So the angel said, Zeal, meaning to say, he said, so Sachar said, what should I do? Should be saved from them? He said, Zil v'shani nafshech. He says, go and basically change yourself, get a disguise so you don't look the same. So he says, ben ma'ishni. He says, how will I look differently? He says, I'm right. Zil I see with mispara v'gzayach. He says, bring me scissors and I'll cut your hair. Ana me'echi aisi. So Sachar said, where am I going to get them? I'm right. Olo beisa. Go up to that home and bring him. Now, clearly, all this needs to be read on a deeper level, but we're just reading it at the daf yomi. So when you want to study it more, you'll go into it in more depth. And when he found them, so he went and he found them, and the angel came and he compared himself to a so the angel came and he disguised himself like a man. He was grinding up like kernels or grains. And so the angel basically said to so the Sancheriv said to the angel, give me a pair of scissors. So the angels who were there, who looked like men, said, Amrulay, they said, no. Techon chad griva de kashaita. First grind up one of the grains, v'nitalach, and then we'll give it to you. Tachad chad griva de kashaita, v'yavule misparta. So he ground up one of them and they gave him a pair of scissors. Adas, and by the time Sancheriv came back with the scissors, it was already darker. Amrulay, Zil I see Nura, he says, so the angel said, go get me like a flashlight, get me some fire, or and I'll have fire, and I'll be able to see. Also, I see Nura. So Zachar went and brought the fire, just like he, by the way, I tried to bring the fire to the temple. And after he did that, when he was blowing on the fire, the fire caught a hold of his beard. Also, and indeed, basically the angel went and cut off the hairs of his head. So this is what it says in the verse. And that's how the verse that we started at the beginning. On that day, God will cut off the razor, Aschira be'evrei nahar, those are hired on the other side of the river, the king of Ashur, and V'gama says Akim tispeh, meaning to say that the angel shaved up the hair of the head of Sancheriv and he burned his beard, and meaning to say he did it with the scissors that Sancheriv brought in exchange for the fire, meaning to say he hired him to do work, or excuse me, in exchange for the scissors that he did by grinding up the grain. And And okay, so Amar Rav Papa, Hainu Damri Inchi, is what people say, Gerir Te Larama Shaperway. If you cut off the hair of an Aramean, it's good. Itlele Nura Bedikne, and if you burn his beard, Velo Savata Chukimine, he's still going to want more. I mean, it's an expression that I never heard before in my life, outside of this Gemara, so a little bit out of context for me. Although Ashkach Tape Mitugusa de Noach. So Sancher went and he found a board that was from the Teva, the Ark of Noach. Amar Hainu Ela Rabba. He thought that the board was the God that had saved Noach from the flood. He didn't realize that the God was not the board, but God. Amri Azal Gabro Matzach. If I'll go and be successful, I'll bring my two. He says, if I'll be successful, I'll sacrifice my two sons before you. Shamu Benai, so his sons heard this, they didn't like that. Gatlu, they killed Sancheriv. I know Vayu Mishtachaveh Beis Nisroch Elokav. Vayu Mishtachaveh Beis Nisroch Elohav. Vadar Melch Vasharatza Banav Vikul Becharev. And so that's why it says he went to bow down into his idol, and his sons killed him. Our Darmal Chasharatza, his sons, killed him because he was bowing down to Nisroch. I mean, they saw he was going to sacrifice him to the board. Nisroch is a board from Neser. That's how the Gemara is interpreting it. And so since we're talking about the angels, the verse now refers to another time where angel appears. It says, Vayishma Avram ki nishbach vayarkas chanichav yolidei beiso shmona me'eos shmona asar shlosh me'os verduf adon vayichalek aleim la'ilahu v'avadav vayakim. And so they went out at Belayla, or at night, he and his servants, and they struck them down. But it should have said, Vayichalek hu v'avadav aleihem la'ilah. So vayichalek aleim la'ilah is an unusual expression. Rabbi Yochanan also malch and his damilo Avram, the angel that came and saved Avram, his name was Lila. Maybe he was married to Lilith. Very similar. I say it's Lila Amar Hora Gamer from Echa. Rabbi Yitzchak Namar Amar. Rabbi Yitzchak Nafcha says, that God waged battle with him with the stars of the night, as it says, Min Hashemayim Nochamu HaKochavim Misuasav Nochamu Sisra. Amar Shlakash Tava Nafcha Debar Nafcha. The explanation of Rabbi Yitzchak Nafcha, which is that God waged war with the battles of the night, is better than Bar Nafcha, Rabbi Yochanan, who says that the angel's name was night. By Yerdofadan, and Avram pursued them until dawn. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Kivan Sheba also Tzaddik Adon. Once the Tzaddik reached dawn, Tashash Kocho, Avram lost his strength. Ra b'nei banav shasidam avod avodah zarah b'dan. He saw that in the future his descendants would worship idolatry in Dan, as it says with respect to the golden calf that Yeravam did. He put one of the golden calves in Beitel and the other one in Dan. Also Rasha, one is Gaber. Also Nebuchadnezzar was only successful at Dan, as it says in Jeremiah. Midan nishmat nacharat susav. From Dan we heard, or it was heard, the snorting of his horses. I'm Rabbi Zera, Afagav de Shalach, Rabbi Uda Mitzera, or some say Rabbi Shimon Levi. These three things. Gemara is going to bring several tzaddikim, basically, who gave birth to wicked ones. But at first, the Gemara says, why should we not hide these things? So that's why the Gemara says, even though Rabbi Shimon Levi or Rabbi Uda Mitzera sent these three things, Hisaro, and what are these three things? One, Hizaro bezaken sheshachach talmudo mason. So you should be careful to still give honor to an elderly person who forgot all his studies because he was an onis, because they got sick. Number two, Hizaro bevridim ke Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said it's not enough just to slaughter the trachea and the esophagus, or either the trachea or the esophagus of the bird. You also have to do the vridin, which are some of the veins. Hizaro B'amei Aretz, and you also have to be careful with an Amei Aretz. You never know what slus they have to give them honor because they can make Torah scholars. Because we're going to see later on that Shemai and Avtalion came out from Sanhedrin. So we see, therefore, even the Amei Aretz can produce Torah scholars. Ki ha milsa modino. So even though we're we say to these Torah scholars or the children of Ma'aretz, even though that there's a lack of honor, because as a result of this, they're going to know that they have this little merit, but still we're supposed to say it. Is it? I can't see it. What are you saying? It's not open. It's locked. It should be open. If it's not open, then I'll let you know. But I think it's locked. I think it's open. So he's still supposed to tell these things. So it says in the verse, Tzaddik ata Hashem ki arive lecha, ach mishpatim adaberos osach. He says, "You're a righteous God." Sanhedrin says, Jeremiah says this. I know you're righteous, God. Even though I know you're righteous, I'll still fight with you. I'll still speak with you about this. You have to explain to me why the righteous are successful, why the wicked are successful. They sit in tranquility, all those who are treacherous. That you plant them and their roots produce fruit. So God, Jeremiah says to God, I don't understand. So so how did God respond? He says, Kies raglim ratzta vayaucha. Ve'ich titachareh et atusim uve'eret shalom ataboteach ve'ich taseh v'gon yarden. Quotes the verse in Jeremiah. He says, basically, the idea is that he says there. He says their legs, they ran and they tired you out, and how will you basically defeat the horses in this land of peace you lie secure, and how will you go with your strength on the Jordan? Meaning to say, how will you run away when the Jordan is tiring you out and going over its banks? And so how do we understand this verse? Mashal Adam Echad Shamar is a parable to a person who said, Yachal ani larutz shalosh parasos lifnei asusim. I might think that I can run 3 parasangs away from before that I'll catch even horses. Uvein bitzei hamayim, and also in a place where the water is muddy. Nizdamin lo ragli echad. So a person will give a person one runner, and Ratz of Shlosha Milim Be'abash. He'll run before him 3 miles in the dry land, vanilla, and he'll get tired. Amrulo. So then those who hear about him will say, Malaf ne raglikach. So they say, one, when you ran with you couldn't run more than 3 miles of Neas Tusam Achas Kama Kama. You can only run 3 miles. You're gonna think you're gonna outrun the horses. You can't only run 3 miles. You're going to run 3 parasangs. Means you have no chance. This is what he was on the dry land. It's going to be in muddy waters, even less likely. Afata, just like so to you, Jeremiah. Understand the 4 steps that Nebuchadnezzar took. We'll hear about it in a moment. That you're astonished about the tremendous reward that the wicked ones are getting Nebuchadnezzar for the 4 steps that he took. He's getting such a tremendous reward. Imagine how great the reward will be for when I pay Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who ran before me like horses without getting tired. How much more so? And how much more so will they receive reward? So don't worry, you're going to get a better reward. And Hainu Del Sid is what Jeremiah says. To the prophets, my heart broke in my midst. Rachafu koatzmos. All my bones are moved. Taisi keish shikor ukegever avaro yayim me'ashem neidvarei kodsho. I was like a drunk man, a man filled with wine because of God, because of His holy words. Meaning to say, I was it was a convincing argument. So what does it mean Nebuchadnezzar got reward for these 4 steps? What are these 4 steps? Because it says, at that time, Merodon, Baladan, that was the name, the son of Baladan, the king sent to the king of Babylon books. Or the king of Babylon sent books. And so And the remainder of the verse says that he sent the gifts to Chizkiyahu because he heard that he was sick, which implies that he sent him gifts because he was sick and he got better. Mishum kichol Chizkiyahu v'yachazak shadawei svarma mincha. Why would the king of Babylon send these things to Chizkiyahu? Because he was sick and he got better? It doesn't make sense. So therefore, the Gemara says, how do we understand it? With Rosh Hamofet Asher Yabaris, to expound on the signs that were in the land. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. That day that Achaz, king of Yehuda, died, the father of Chizkiyahu, was wicked. HaKadosh Baruch Hu took away 2 hours from the day, and there it took away 10 hours of the day, and there were only 2 hours. So they didn't want to properly eulogize Achaz, so God made it a shorter day. And when Chizkiyahu got sick, and then he was healed, God gave him another 10 hours, gave back the day 10 hours. It says, I will return the sundial that came down during the time of Achaz. So God returned it. He made the day 10 hours longer. And Amarlu, and Merach Baladan, the son of Baladan, said to the king of Babel, to his servants, Mahi, what's going on? Why is the sun? All of a sudden, we have a longer day. Because Chizkiyahu got sick, and he was healed. So he says, there's such a great guy in the world. I have to send him greetings of peace. So Kasvule, Shalom Malka Chizkiyahu. He said, greetings to King Chizkiyahu. Shalom Lakarti Yerushalayim. Greetings to the city of Jerusalem. Shalom Elokar Rabba. Greetings to the great God. Nebuchadnezzar Safrei Devel Adonai. So Nebuchadnezzar at that time was just the scribe to Beladan. But at that time, Nebuchadnezzar wasn't there. Kiasa, when he showed up, so he said, tell me about the letter you wrote to send to Chizkiyahu. This is what we said. Kariso Le'aloka Rabba. We said greetings to the great God. So Nebuchadnezzar said, I don't understand what you're doing. You wrote greetings to God, but that's the last thing you said. You have to praise God first. Amar Azli Achiksuvu. So Nebuchadnezzar said, this is what you should write. Shalom Le'allah Rabba. Greetings to God. Shalom Le'karti Shalom. Greetings to Jerusalem. Shalom Le'malka Chizkiyahu. And then greetings to Chizkiyahu. Amar Le Karyana Digarta Iulelave Parvanka. That person who knows how to read the letter, he should be the one to send it. We had the same from Pinchas also. If you remember, we had a discussion of Pinchas earlier when he killed them. He's the one who reads the letter, is the one who knows how to read the letter. He should be the one who knows who gives the response. So Rad Pasrei. So Nebuchadnezzar ran after the agent. Kederayit Arba Pisios Asa Gabriel Ve'ikri. When Nebuchadnezzar run 4 steps, Gabriel came and stopped him, because if he had run more, he would have had so much reward. The Jewish people would have been totally destroyed. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Ba Gabriel Ve'amido. Because Loya Takano is El Malik Ba Gabriel Vamido Loya Takano is so named Shalisrael. Or not for the fact that Gabriel stopped them, there would never been any way to fix this for the Jewish people. They would have been out of luck. My Beladan Ben Beladan. Why was his name Maradoch Beladan Ben Beladan? Amrei Beladan Malkava. So he says Beladan, his father, was a king. Vishtani Ape Vave the Kalba, but his face turned and he began to look like a dog. Yeah, I know. Hava Yosef Brei Amochusei. So his son was sitting on his kingdom, took over for him, and Avikasev Shmei Davua Baladan Malka. When he wrote his name, he wrote his name and the name of his father. His name was Baladan. And Idu Dilsev, this is what it means when it states Ben Yechabed Av the Eved Adonav. A son shall honor his father and the servant of his master. Ben Yechabed Av. This is like we said, that he honored his father. The Eved Av Adonav, and the servant is master. This is like what happened with Nebuchadnezzar and Nebuzaradan. Nebuzaradan was the general and Nebuchadnezzar was the king at the time that the temple was destroyed. It says in Jeremiah, Chodesh HaChamishi, in the 5th month, Chodesh, the 10th day of the month. This is the month of Av. Now we know that we celebrate Tisha B'Av, we commemorate Tisha B'Av, but the real burning happened on the 10th day. Hishnat Chas Reishana Melch Nebuchadnezzar Melch Babel Ba Nebuzaradan Rav Tabachin Amad So on the 10th day, he burnt the temple. And so the Gemara says, did really was Nebuchadnezzar there? Nebuchadnezzar on 96b, Nebuchadnezzar was never there. It was Nebuzaradan. We saw Nebuchadnezzar Yishalayim. He never made it. So Gam Rabbi Avo, Zo Antiocha, that they came up to Antiocha. So Nebuzaradan was standing in front of the king of Babylon in Jerusalem. He had a picture of Nebuchadnezzar on his chariot. That's what it means he was standing there. That basically, that Nebuzaradan had such great awe of Nebuchadnezzar that at all times it looked like he felt that Nebuchadnezzar was like standing in front of him. So now, since we started talking about Nebuzaradan, we're going to say how he was able to conquer Jerusalem and destroy the temple. Amarava, Tayin Tlas Mea Kudainta, a burden of 300 mules, Narga de Parlaza de Shalparpaza, and iron, sharp iron axe that have the strength to cut one piece of metal. He sent him these very sharp axes to be able to cut through metal. And and they were all unsuccessful, meaning to say they kept breaking on the gates of Jerusalem. So Balaam Aders and Nebuzaradan was about to give up. He said, we can't break into Jerusalem. He says, I don't want them to kill me just like they killed Sanhedrin. So what happened? Nafka Kala, a voice went out, Va'amar Shavar Bar Shavar. He said, basically, ox, the son of an ox. I don't know if that's right, but that's the way I read it. Nebuzaradan Shavar, or he said basically a jumper, the son of a jumper. Nebuzaradan is you jumped quickly to try and defeat Jerusalem. But now that the time has come to destroy the temple, the time is come. So Nebuzaradan had one more ox. Also, he came and he struck it against the wall, which was not sharp. The iftach, and the gates opened. The shenemar yivada kamevi lamala v'savach it's kardumos. Basically, lay bare the side of your hand, expose the basically expose the I don't know, the rough parts or the thorns or the brush. I don't know. So Nebuzaradan kept killing everybody until he came to the temple. He lit it up with fire. So the sanctuary picked itself up, was about to go up to heaven. They pushed the temple back down and said, well, I'm not sure 100% what that means, but okay, that's what it's saying. So Nebuzaradan was very arrogant. A heavenly voice went out and said to him, you killed a nation that was sentenced to death. You burnt a temple that was destroyed. You ground up flour. You didn't grind up wheat, you ground up flour. He saw the blood of Zechariah that was boiling. We had this Gemara in Gittin. You probably remember it. Amar my eye, why is Zechariah? Now Zechariah had lived. He was a Kohen Gadol in the time of Yoash, so he was a good deal earlier. And the king had wanted him to be killed. And Yoash was escaped. He was the only one from Judah, we said yesterday. And basically, Yoash ordered him to be killed. So he was the Kohen Gadol in the time of Yoash, was ordered to be killed. So his blood was boiling here. So Amrul my eye, why is it boiling? He said, this is the blood of the sack. The Jewish people tried to push him off. And they said, no, it's not the blood of Zechariah the Kohen Gadol. It's the blood of the sacrifices. That's why it's blood stained. Amrul, I see Vansi Midam. He says, let's do a test. Because they slaughter the animals, it's clearly not animal blood. Amrul, go away. Tell me the secrets. Otherwise, I'll basically torture you to death with the iron comb. Amrul, I Kohen Navi. They said this is a Kohen and a prophet. He was saying, he's telling us about the destruction of Jerusalem, and our people killed him. Amrul, honor of Feisnois, and Huzaradan said, okay, I'll appease his blood. I see Rabbanan Kitu. He brought the rabbis and killed them. The blood kept flowing. I see Dardake, the Bei Rav, and Katulua. He brought the children of the Bei Rav and they killed them. And it didn't stop. I see Pirchei Kahuna Vikatulua. He brought the Pirchei of the Kahuna and he killed them. It didn't stop. Adikato, Ilave Tishin Varbaim Ribo, until he killed 940,000 men, and it still didn't stop the blood. Karav Lagave. So Nebuzaradan came to the blood of Zechariah. Amar Zechariah Zechariah. Tovim Shebahani Baratim. He said, I killed the best amongst them. You want me to kill all of them? Finally, the blood stopped. Here, Tshuva B'daitin, and Zeradan saw this and he repented. Amar, he said, this only happened. This guy, these Jewish people, they only killed one. And look what happened to them. His blood was boiling. What's going to happen to me? I just killed 940,000. Arak, Shadar Porte of Viskayar. So he ran away. He sent a note to his house telling them what to do with his money, and he converted. Tan Rabbanan, so since we see that Nebuzaradan converted, Gemara tells us that Naaman, who was the general of the king of Aram in the time of Elisha, was a Ger Toshav. He actually was a good person. He accepted not to worship idolatry. Nebuzaradan Ger Tzedekah. Nebuzaradan was a righteous convert. Mibnei Banav Shel Sisra, the descendants of Sisra, Lamdu Torah of Yerushalayim. They studied Torah in Jerusalem. Mibnei Banav Shel Sanhedrin, Lamdu Torah B'Ram. Sanhedrin's descendants taught Torah in public. Uman Nenu Shmai V'Avtalim. This was Shmai and Avtalim. Mibnei Banav Shel Haman, Lamdu Torah B'Bnei Brak. Haman's descendants studied Torah in Bnei Brak. Ma'avni Bnei Banav Shel Osa Rasha, Bikesh HaKadosh Baruch Hu, La'achnisan Tachas Kafei Shlina. And also, Nebuchadnezzar's descendants, Hashem wanted to Nebuchadnezzar's descendants Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted to take them into the Jewish people. He wanted to allow them to convert. So the angel said to God, the one who burned your house, your temple, you're going to take him under the divine presence. This is what it means in the verse. We would have healed Bavel, but she is not healed. This refers to Nebuchadnezzar, that Hashem wanted to heal Nebuchadnezzar, but the angel stopped him. The rivers of Bavel, that their waters are bitter. Some say that this refers to, and therefore, according to this approach, it refers to the palm trees, the bitter palm trees that grow, that standing by the banks of Babel. Ammon and Moab, Ammon and Moab are the bad neighbors of Jerusalem. Even the Shaminu, once they heard when the VA to come when they heard that the prophet was saying that Jerusalem was going to be destroyed, they sent a message to Nebuchadnezzar, go out from the place where you are and come here. I don't want them to do to me like they did to Sanhedrin. So they sent back to him. There's no man in the house, meaning God is not there. Ish is God. It says Hashem Ish Melchama. Shalchu, he sent back to them. The Kriva, who, even though he's not in the house, he's close. Va'asi, and he can come. Shalchu, alach b'derach mirach. No, he's far away. Shalchu, so he sent back. Islu tzadiku de b'rachnu ma'islein. So he has tzadikim who will pray and they'll bring him. Shalchu, tzror kesef lakach b'yado ve'en kesef el tzadikim. No, he took them, the tzadikim with him. Meaning they're no longer in this world. And basically, he acquired the Jewish people. So Nebuchadnezzar said, I'm still worried. So basically, they'll do tshuva, and then I'll be in trouble. No, it's the time for it to be destroyed. It says, so it's the time for them to be destroyed, the base of Mikdash. Shalchus and Nebuchadnezzar said, Sitvava. He says it's the fall. I can't come because it's the snow and the rain. Come to the land of Israel in tunnels under the mountains, and the mountains will protect you. Shenemar shulchu kar moshel eretz miselam midbaram. Oh, harbat zion. Shulchu yasina esli doka the asadnimi. Says if I come, I have no place for my army to stay. Shulchu kvar shalem mu'ula mi palter in shachad. He said no, their graves are in caves. They're better than your palaces. They'll say ba'isi nu Hashem yotzilat atzmos machayu davas atzmos sarav es atzmos. Kohanim es atzmos tanvim es atzmos yishvei Yerushalayim. So we see Jeremiah is prophesizing they'll take out the bones of the Jews from the graves at the time of the destruction in order to make place for Nebuchadnezzar's army. Okay, tomorrow's daf is about the Mashiach. So Baruch Hashem, I'll send you a message when we could do it. But that's today's daf. Shkoyach, Baruch Hashem, Shkoyach.
Thank you.
Shkoyach, thank you. God willing. Yeah.